Math 8, Unit 5 Functions, Lesson 1, Part 2. Introduction to Functions. We're going to go over the definition of a function. Okay, first, a relation. This is picking up from the first video where we looked at a few relations. A relation that pairs each input with exactly one output is called a function. Okay, so for example, if I take an input of 1 and get an output of 5, 2 could go to 7, 3 could go to 7, 4 could go to 8. It's actually okay that 2 and 3 both go to 7 in this mapping diagram. The important part here of whether it's a function is that each input only has one place it can go. That's what makes it a function. Here's some examples of real-life functions. Your calculator. You'll input something into your calculator, like 2 plus 2. You press equals, and it outputs a 4 for you. And if you pick a different input, it'll give you a different output. But for any input, if the calculator is functioning properly, it will act as a function. A toaster, you can input bread and output toast. A computer program, you have several different inputs you could receive, and then the computer program will take those inputs and do some sort of calculation with them and have an output. Let's determine whether each of these is a function. Now this first one, if we look at all the inputs, there are 4 of them, they only each have one place to go. Yes, this is a function. Okay, the next one, if we take a look at the inputs, that's the important part. This input right here, 0, can go to either 5 or 6. Because this input has 2 different places it can go, this is not a function. Functions need to have only one place they can go. Okay, determine whether this relation is a function. Well, every input only has one place it can go. Yes, it is a function. Describe a pattern in the inputs and outputs. One pattern I'm seeing here, to get from 1 to 15, that multiplies by 15. The same thing happens with 2 becoming 30, 3 becoming 45, and 4 becoming 60. So the pattern I see is that the input gets multiplied by 15 to create the output. Or as we did previous to now, it's just y equals 15x. The output y is equal to 15 times x, the input. Determine whether the relation is a function. All right, this first one, the -1/2 has 2 places to go. So this one's no, because that input has 2 different outputs. Same with the other input as well. The next example is yes, because the 2 only has one place to go, the 4 only has one place, the 6 only has one place, and the 8 only has one place. I want you to notice that it does not matter what these numbers are on the output. It just matters that each input only has one output that it can go to. Okay, for this first lesson, we assigned the assignment function.1. Just do a quick little preview here. On number 1, you're going to be taking this mapping diagram and creating a list of ordered pairs, where you just list all the ordered pairs like we did in the first video. You're going to make a table, and you're going to graph them. You're going to want to create your x and y axis, and then graph those points. You'll just graph the points that were in part A, and then tell me whether it's a function or not. On number 2, you're going to take these 4 points and make a mapping diagram from them, where you've got your x's going to y's. 4 points, you're going to have 4 arrows. Describe the pattern in the inputs and outputs, and then write the equation, which you can do because we did those in Unit 4. Number 3 is a review by where you're going to do graphing. Number 4, you're using the squaring function. I tell you the input, you just need to figure out the output by squaring the number. Number 5, you're going to find the measure of the 3 angles in this triangle. Number 6, you'll solve for t. 7, you need to give me an example of a function and an example of a non-function using some mapping diagrams. That's where you've got the input and the output, and you're just drawing arrows to show how they map. Then number 8, you're going to determine which of the relations are a function or not, and then come up with a rule you can use where you can visually tell if a graph is a function or not.